I'm not even gonna ask questions this morning. We got Cage. He's coming to us live from his garage right after card show. So I take it he has some really, really important news to bring us.
No,
So
I don't.
over there in Long Island, New York, passing it to you, Cage.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, when it gets rainy out here and it gets crazy, I like to go in the garage and maybe smoke a cigar, watch the rain and that kind of stuff. So it's cool stuff, I mean, I don't do it that often anymore because, it's COVID. So you got to have good lungs. But, might as well. You celebrate, you have some fun. Proud dad today at the card show. Ian was holding court. I got some pictures. It's really funny stuff. It's fun. I walked down the aisle on one of the shows and, a guy I never saw him before, never even got a chance to like catch up with him because it was crowded in the show. He had a little fist coming at you like this, and he's like, "Love the show, man," and he had a little fist bump, and he just keeps walking. And I'm like, "Okay, cool, thanks, it's awesome, man." Thank you, thanks for listening. And I didn't even get a chance because walking in between the tables and stuff, it's nuts. It's like, packed and everybody's got their cases. Everybody's got their fun stuff. I already know what my cardboard relevant will be for the day. And I'm going to talk about it on this episode, if you like. It's one of those things.
What was the general vibe at the show? What was the general people? Happy people?
That's what the relevant will be about, right? So if you'll allow me to, I mean, I know I kind of sometimes steal the beginning of these intros on it, but I'd love your take on it, right? Because it's been a while since you were at a live card show. And I mean, I've been at many, many shows. I've had tables at shows. When I was a kid, I got tables on in high school, a showcase and the whole deal, And it's funny because this show that I go to, this local show, probably 30 tables, something like that. And it's like the same guys over and over again. But here's the change in the vibe. And then I'll also talk to you about a couple of things that happened at the show. The change in the vibe is this. One, there are people walking around handing out business cards, which never really happened. And we're talking about like every time Ian would buy Pokemon, someone would hand them a card for like their card and gift shop, hey, we got Pokemon cards here. Come, we're like 4 blocks away from the show, so that's just local businesses, like leave here and come buy Pokemon at our store, So that's one. And two, every third or fourth table, when you were talking to the guys about their cards and stuff like that, they would give you a business card and say, hey, I'm about to open a store. I'm going to open a store in this town. I'm about to open a store here. Which is a little weird, one, because like brick and mortar is difficult no matter what, you know what I mean? But I guess there are a lot of people who are looking to do this now and take advantage of, a Panini contract, a Topps contract, being a brick and mortar, getting waxed cheap, maybe breaking it and that kind of stuff. So it's just, that was definitely two different things as far as the vibe goes. Two things, takeaways from the show that I'll tell you, all right, if I'm allowed. And then we can talk about Ian making deals and that kind of stuff. But number one, it's still a curmudgeon life. It's still old type of dealer life, right? So like one guy had a Giannis.
Like socks and sandals with khaki shorts?
No, I mean, like forget about the dress and the whole deal. I just talk about the way that they're doing business, right? So one guy had a Giannis Prism rookie PSA 10. And we all know that, week and a half ago, you can get those like 1900, 1950 on eBay. With them sweeping, maybe it's 2000, 2100, 2200, maybe even a little more now. Who knows? But I say to the guy, how much you want for that? Figuring even if he's on the high side of eBay comps and it's 2250, he's going to take 10% off, because that's what he'd be getting off of eBay anyway. And be able to get the thing for cash under $2,000.
He's 2,500.
3,000. I said 3,000. Like that's 50% more than what I expected you to try to charge me. And he's like, do you know what these things were worth last year? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. I said, if you'd like, sell me some Bitcoin at last year's price, and I'll pay you that too if you want.
You did not say that.
I swear I did. I swear I did.
He said that to you. Yeah. You know what these things were worth last year?
Yeah, you know what these things were worth? Like these things were worth so much more last year. And I'm like, okay, but that's not how business works. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things were different price last year. I'll go through the rest of your showcase and offer you prices from last year.
Try to do that with gas next time you're filling up your tank.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny that I mean, and I actually like out of the ear shot of everybody, I'm like, listen, next time, like, just don't put that card out. Like, why would you even put it out if you're expecting to get $3,000 for it? And he's like, well, maybe somebody doesn't know the eBay comps and they'll pay me for that. Maybe they think it's. I'm like, okay, well, that's the kind of guy. Then that's fine. I guess I get that. It's not something I would ever do.
Does that guy realize the chain of events that happens after that? So with social media, that's super interesting. Is if you, and the card hobby is quick to jump to judgments. If you do that, and let's say someone does come and buy that card for 3,000, they're going to more than likely post that card on the internet, right? And they're going to eventually find out that they overpaid by 50% for that card. And now this guy's reputation, both online and in person, is going to be hurt just because of $500, $600, $700 extra. If you're trying to be in the business long term, I can't see how that's a sustainable strategy.
So here's the other part of it, right? And it's just a misfire by the people who are there, right? And not understanding the way that the card world has kind of trended in the last year or two. There are a load of young kids there. We're talking like Luka jersey, Tatum jersey,
Yep.
late teens, 18, 16, 22, whatever. And a lot of the tables at the show are not their cup of tea. Trust me, there are people there who have cards. They want a lot of money for them, and that's fine, and there's cool stuff to look at. But these guys, you could tell because they're there with their cases. They're there with their Shop Gem Mint or, whatever else, case they have. And Ian will walk up to them and say, hey, you guys want to trade? I have a case. He brought an entire case of just Ian's cards. And they'll say, okay, let's trade. Hand it to the guys who ran the show in Wayne that I was at last time. Because they actually had a trade room. You paid to get in, and they had their main floor but then in the back, they had tables set up, trade room. Ian was able to sit down, put his cards out in there. People would trade, make deals with each other, right? Which is cool because that's a lot of what the hobby has become, right? It's become not just buy, sell. It's become a community, right? And these are people you can meet, people you can make long-term deals with. Not to mention, if you trade a card with somebody there, you've just gotten rid of something you thought you couldn't get rid of for something else. Maybe you take that card out to one of the dealers and give them a discount on it now for cash. Or maybe you trade that card with one of the dealers. Or maybe it can only benefit the guys out on the floor with with their stuff if there are trades going on. Plus, it brings more people into the show. So here's what happened. I was at this show 2 months ago. I didn't go to the one last month. This Plainview local Long Island show. So Ian walks up to two guys. He's like, hey, I got these cards. Let's trade, So Ian walks over. And in the back room, they have like a separate room. There's
confident young fella. I wonder where he gets it from.
Yeah, I mean, but he's got a box full of cards. He's got like good stuff, So, he's never like, oh, I'm only looking for football or whatever it is. He wants to see what people have, right? So in the back room, there's a couple tables of like, vintage bargains. Fill out your 1973 top set, 12 cents a card, whatever it is. And then there's a couple of like little area where we last time made some trades. People were just sitting there. So there's a couple of tables not being used. They have like sheets on them and stuff. So Ian takes his box, puts it out. These other two kids take their box. They put them out. They're starting to, look at the cards. How much you want for this? What do you want for this Giannis? What do you want for these cards? Like let's figure out a trade. How about a Tatis? How about a this? Trade. And the guy who runs the show comes over. And as he's walking over, the two kids are like, we're going to have to close up shop. He threw us out last time. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He threw you out. Like, why would he throw you out? And like, no, you'll see. So the guy comes over and he says, you guys can't do this here. And I said, what do you mean? They can't do what? It's kids. Like my son is 7 years old. Well, I got guys who pay for tables, right? These guys pay for tables. If they see you, they're going to get crazy and complain to me. I said, wait. Tell me what the rules are, right? Because no one here is buying cards from each other. There's no cash changing hands here. It's just people who came to your show who ultimately, like myself, will most likely spend money with your dealers out there who now want to have a little bit of an area to make trades of their cards. Is that all right with you? There's no, yeah, but don't let it get any bigger than this. Just these three, four people that you got here. If it gets any bigger than this, you guys, you can't be doing this here. There's people who paid money to have a table at the show. I'm like, 5% of me sort of gets it, right? The guys want to have trades, but every one of these guys, they offered their cards to trade to every one of these dealers already, and they all passed, right? So this is now like trade. But of course, what do you think happens? 3 minutes go by, and 4 other people with their cases see that that's what's going on in the back room. Obviously, there's a need for this, right? Because this is what everybody wants to do, because the dealers have comps from February, and they all want to trade and rip people off. But now you got a whole – I said, okay, guys, we're going to go to the lobby. Let's go. And everybody closes up their case. They take, 10 people. Ian's got his thing. We go to the lobby of the hotel. It's a friggin' wedding going on. But now, because of the stance that the owner, the guy who runs the show has taken, 10 people with one kid had a Luka red PSA 10 in his case. He's like, he had Burrow Gold 10 auto. I mean, like legit cards. Like if I were a dealer at the show, I wouldn't want that walking out. You know what I mean? No way. But because of the stance he took, he actually just sent 10 big time, card collector, the people who could be spending money out of your show. Like you were in a business, right? What's the cardinal sin? You don't want people leaving the business, right? These people are going to spend money. It's like a car salesman, right? Never let them out the door.
This is something I've seen so many times, man, and it's actually quite simple. Some people run businesses for the short term. Some people run businesses long term. And when it's short term, you're always nickel and diming. You're always finding places to cut corners. You're always worried about, oh, I didn't get $5 here, or someone's going to complain about a table. If you're playing the long term game and you want to plan events, 12, 14, 20 events in the next few years, you're thinking long term, and how do you make this a great experience for your customers?
Meanwhile,
right?
He's got 30 tables, right? Everybody's charging $50 a table, $100 a table, whatever it is. You know what the guy should do? That back room where he's got all this extra space, he should set up 10 tables over there, enough room for 20 people, whatever it is, and call it a trade area and charge people $5 to get into the trade area and make trades with people. And then use that money and divvy it back up to the people who are buying the tables and defray their cost. And then everybody's happy.
We could keep rocking with that idea. He could hire a videographer. And after these kids do a trade, you create a video, kind of a highlight reel of everything that goes on in your show. You interview some kids. So tell me, you came into the show with Luka. Is Luka your favorite player? Yeah, Luka's my favorite player. I love Luka. Now I have 3 Luka cards, and I came in with 1. And you create this like little highlight reel, 3 to 6 minutes long, and you post it on YouTube. The fun at whatever show at Wayne.
Yeah.
And you get more customers. You become viral. People send it around. People want to be a part of what you're building. It's just back to that statement I had where, for the party to grow, you have to grow the pie. You can't just take the pie. Like you said, the dealers, they're going to be mad that they got a bad deal, but they're just all taking from the same pie. They should be, how do we grow this pie? How do we keep kids excited? How do we get people back into the hobby? How do we get crypto enthusiasts to want to come to shows?
But think about how silly it is, right? Yeah, I mean, but it's penny wise and pound foolish. It really is. Like they should be thinking that way. And here, I'll give you an example, right? So Ian is out there, and I bought
Paige, should we start a show? I would love to be a business partner.
100%. We should start a show. We should have tables at the show. We should have like kid friendly areas.
What role would I play at the show? What role would I play at the show? Would I be that guy stomping around?
You'll be the MC. You're going to have a DJ behind you. You have a microphone. You can walk from table to table. Big deal going on here. Sasha Tomadon about to rip off this 12-year-old. Come on, everybody. Come take a look. Where? You be the MC.
I love hosting, man. I love when people come to your show or your cafe or your house and they have a good experience. I love the hosting. I don't like to be the center of the party, but I love to host.
So, but think about this, right? I get butthurt. I hold grudges, right? So Ian's out there, and one of the Kobe jersey card things that I bought for $75, whatever it was, someone threw in a couple of freebies with it. 2 cards, a Kobe 05 Chrome base, and the same year 05 Chrome Dwayne Wade base. Just 2 base cards. So when that came in a package, I wasn't expecting those. I gave them to Ian, and he put them in his case. So he happened to be over there, and somebody was like, I'll give you $50 for those 2 Chrome cards. And Ian's like, okay, fine. They were free. My dad gave them to me for free. He looks up the eBay comps, sees what they sell for. He got $50. What do you think the first thing he says to me is? Let's go back in the show. I want to buy some Pokemon cards. So he's now taking that money that he would not have had if he got thrown out or they didn't allow these trades, and he's spending it with one of the dealers. He came back out, opened his cards. Somebody else asked him whether or not he would take $80 for a 2012 Prism Derek Jeter. He took that, got the $80, ran back in. Yeah, he said $80, whatever. He ran back in. He checked the eBay comps. The last one sold for $86. He said, I'll take the 80. Great. Runs back in, buys a box of Pokemon cards. So, I mean, it's stupid. But whatever, it is what it is. Obviously,
you're spot on. I mean, what is there left to say? I think for every experience like that, there are experiences where there's show hosts or show MCs, whatever you call it, like whatever that guy's role is, where they do it right. It's just as the hobby grows, you're going to see some people that don't get it and some people that do get it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the hobby has changed, right? Trading was always a part of it, right? But now it's a huge part. The content's a part of it, like you said, with the videos, a podcast, you name it. Like, the show in Sydney had our friends Double Coverage doing like live podcasts of it, right? And they had like panelists and stuff. Obviously, it's a bigger show. This is just a local show, and it's been going on like this forever. And it's the same guys been doing it for the longest time, and that's fine. But you know what?
How come no athletes?
Well, because of COVID still. But this show used to have that back room that I'm talking about. Used to be where someone would sign. They would have people sitting there signing the autograph. So they have done that. And this isn't like, I'm telling you, it's not a big show, but still, like, you know, come into this century, guys. You know, realize that there are kids spending money. You know, it's sad to see this, you know, 55, 60-year-old guy look down at these kids because they got a Tatum and a Luka jersey on and they look like they're out of high school, and they are. But you know what? This guy has more in his Gem Mint box than half your dealers have at their table. You know, so it's silly. It's like don't judge a book by its cover kind of thing. You think you can be rude and throw these guys out of your show. Why? For trading? It's real stupid. It really is.
Well, it reminds me of like when you would raise your hand in school and you'd be like, "Hey, can I go like take 15 minutes and like go to the bathroom or like go to the hallway or like make a call or do something?" Like, you know, I would allow it for you, but if I allow it for you, I have to allow it for everyone else.
Yeah.
I've always hated when teachers said, you know, "Can I wear my hoodie today or can I wear my hat today?" I would, but everyone else is going to ask too, and I can't allow everyone to do that.
You know what's amazing about it?
Not my thing.
What you want to say to these guys, well, you know, if your dealers feel that strongly about it, maybe they should trade at their tables. You know, maybe they should be a little less like greedy. You know, maybe they should let people trade at their table.
Or maybe you should be a pretty good salesperson, given you're in a sales role, and explain to the dealers it's in their best interest.
Yeah.
Isn't that your job? So I'm gonna go. Remember, this is an episode about making plays and making people money. So
no, but actually, listen, that was my show. That's my show. I had a great time. Ian had a great time. We opened some Pokemon. We ripped some boxes. My brother went with me. My little brother, 6'7", opened up a box of Allen and Ginter and got an auto out of 10 of some graphic designer, last name Ackerley. So I don't know who the hell it is, but out of a blaster to get a one of those Allen and Ginter framed autos out of 10, he was like, "Yeah, now I gotta go find out who this is."
So who is it?
It's a female graphic designer. Her last name is Ackerley. No idea. No clue. But he got an auto out of 10 out of a retail blaster. So can't go wrong. But yeah, so you got some plays. You want to make people money. You want to, I'd love to talk about it. You know, basketball starting up today. 4 good games going today. We got the Hawks and the Knicks playing as we record this.
Hawks and Knicks. It's Hawks lead by 4 at the half. The Bucks swept. They're on to the next round. We got the Lakers coming up at 2:30, which is early for a West Coast game. That's an early game. And we got
Tyler Hero didn't look that bad. They gave him some minutes. He actually looked pretty good in yesterday's game. I mean, they didn't win, but I think he scored 14 points in like 20-something minutes. I was on Twitter all the games they played, and I actually saw people tweeting like, "Why are you taking Hero out? Like he's your offense. Like put Hero back in." I was like, there you go, there you go.
It's funny how expectations work, right? Like apparently the Heat had a horrible season after going to the finals and then making it 6th seed. Like I don't know. I guess it is slightly a down year for the Heat, but I think they're a lot of young talent. They're gonna have a really bright future.
I'm going to let you go crazy because I've stolen so much, but my play in this offseason is going to be people are going to absolutely be dumping Tyler Hero cards. I'm talking about numbered Prism. I'm going to buy a couple of them. That's going to be like a gamble, like gamble play because I think he's going to start. He's going to play next year. He's going to have a couple of big games. He's going to play, and that team is good. That team didn't forget how to play basketball. Pat Riley is always going to be awesome. He's always going to find a way to put good talent on the floor. And they're never going to be a crappy team. And it's not going to take much for him to regain. He doesn't have to get anywhere near where he was. You know what I mean? But he's been so beaten up. I bet you get, if you want to buy Prism PSA 10s, they'll probably be like, $20, maybe even less in the offseason, right? So watch, I'm gonna be looking for that. There's a play for you. I'll be looking for some Tyler Hero stuff. No more.
It's funny you say that because my play is actually the exact same thing. It's a guy that's just been beat down, and you're gonna get him on like pennies on the dollar. Compared to his upside, and I don't think he even has to fulfill his upside. I think you could sell into the first 10, 20 games of next season, and he's going to be more expensive or more valuable than he is now. Do you want to take a guess? This guy was drafted 2nd after DeAndre Ayton before Luka Doncic.
So that was pretty 2018 basketball draft. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna guess it.
Played
I'm
for
not
Duke.
gonna. I'm not gonna
Marvin
guess.
Bagley.
Not
You ever
gonna
heard of that
guess.
guy?
For the Kings,
You
Bagley,
ever heard
like
of?
Marvin. Yeah, of course.
I don't like Marvin Bagley, but he's 22 years old. He's 22 years old, and he had a game this season after his injuries. After he's had 3 season-ending injuries or 3 really big injuries in 4 years, but he's still 22 years old, and his cars have gotten demolished. When he's come back, he put up a 32-12 game against the Pacers. He's put
What's
up
his
some big.
contract? Is his contract up this year? Because
I think he's going. I think he's going to. I think he's going into a contract year too. But take a guess. What do you think his PSA 10 is selling for?
$40.
$30.
Wow.
So
I was purposely going low.
you're going $30 less than a grading fee now from BSA. I'm not saying go Prism base. I would go like a blue ice or a purple ice. Like you could buy a purple ice of Marvin Bagley for $300. Now you're getting a card that. Let's take his accolades aside. Let's say he doesn't have a good year or whatever. That was still $1,500 card in a boom market just because of what all other comps were. Now you're getting. I'm looking at a purple ice right now. Purple ices are out of 149 for $305. I bet in the dead of summer that's even going to come down a little bit further. And I think you could buy into a guy like this who still has upside, who's going into a contract year, who has talent, who's going to play, and he's 22 years old. He's 22 years old. So you mentioned like Tyler Hero's been beat up. I mean, anyone who's been holding Bagley cards, they basically have dumped them by this point. Even the truest believers of Bagley, they've let his cards go. And you could get a blue parallel, red parallel, any of these parallels in the $100 to $300 range. I wouldn't go base. You could go the silver PSA 10's $100 card. I would take a look at it because you could say what you want, but by no means at 22 can you say a guy's career is done. Is that fair to say?
100%. 100%.
The guy's talented. His only critique was that he gets injured a lot. Now, could he keep getting injured? Sure. So, but what's your downside? He's already been beaten up. He already had 3 season-ending injuries, and the prices have reflected that. I think it's an interesting gamble that has significant upside and maybe some very low limited downside.
Yeah, because it's already been beat to hell. Listen, we can probably come up with a bunch. Like, that is a play right now. That is a huge play. Because everything's been beat down, right? Yep. So when the market goes down, you look for one of 2 things, right? You look for something that is a rebound candidate, which is perfect, what you're talking about. Same with the Tyler Hero that I'm talking about. And it's funny, you gave Tyler Hero 1,000 times. I can't believe he's going to be my play. But the other way to do it is when the market goes down, sometimes blue chips that have performed fine as a company also go down because the whole overall market is going down. So that's another place I would look. Baseball. It seems like every time Tatis comes up, he's hitting a home run. He did it yesterday, 9th inning, down 3, hit a bomb onto the train tracks against Houston. The team ultimately went and won that game. That card, it's like $170 now. People at the show, cash price, you buy 10 of them, $1,500. That's cheap now. That card was over $300. That is, you're now getting into bargain territory for him. And is he going to win the MVP this year? I mean, who knows? There's 2/3 of the season left. You never know what can happen. But this is a young guy, face of the game, you name it. I would start looking at Acuna. As good as he's playing, that card's under $200, $175. Same as like the Tatis. Juan Soto, same kind of scenario, right? So,
can I say something about the Padres real quick? I don't mean to.
Yeah, sure.
On your MVP thing. Motivation is a crazy thing, and we talked about this a few times in the season preview. But the Padres knew going into the season they had very slim margin for error because of how good the Dodgers were. The Dodgers, they're playing not like hockey, but you know what I mean. Like they know how good they are. They just won the World Series. You kind of like sleepwalk through the beginning of the season. The Padres, Tatis, that whole team through and through. They're first in the NL West. But they're playing like they know that they have no margin for error. They want that number 1 seed. So that also plays into the fact that they're not resting on their laurels.
Yeah, and it's a good young team. Got a lot of good players on that team. A lot of really good players. And, I mean, look, the Padres, Tatis is one of them. But, I mean, so many. There's so many guys. Aaron Judge, he seems to have a hot streak once every year, and his cards are like nothing. And I'm not telling you got to hold these cards forever. I'm just telling you, when it rides down, if you're planning to stay in the hobby, you think the hobby is going to spike back up at some point, which I believe it's going to, these are the kind of cards, those industry leaders that will ride the wave back up, right? So, and they don't have to go up that much for you to make. If you're able to buy Tatis a 10-pack for $150, $1,500, it goes back to $225. You just made $750. $225 is nowhere near the high of where it was. So that's it's one of those plays where you don't always have to be looking for the one that's beat down because he was injured or beat down because he had a bad year. That's definitely one, and those have more upside. And if they're beat down enough, the downside is small, like your Badgley play, right? Like Tyler Hero, But I also like to look at the ones that they're still performing and their cards are going down. So.
I mean, Trey is a good example of that. People beat me up for Trey, not investing in Trey in last August. I think now's the time to invest in Trey. I mean, you're
starting to buy back in, yeah.
I mean, think about it. You're probably getting him for what, 50% of what he was when we spoke in August. Definitely. But you have a full winning season under the belt, so you're getting a better player with more experience and more track record. So you don't have to worry about the risk. You just saw what he can do. They're beating the Knicks now too, and you're getting him for 50% off. So timing is important. Like, it's not always like buy. Like, you could wait for these periods. As Warren Buffett says, we quoted that to infinity. You could wait for these periods when there's dip buy opportunities. I think it'd be foolish not to buy into a Trey red or a Trey blue prism. I mean, it would be foolish in my opinion.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, last red sold for under 4. The last red sold for about what the silvers were at their peak.
Well, I was looking at this card, Cage. I'm curious what you think of this. So did you ever see like they're called Panini Prism Rookie Signatures, but they're really select signatures? Have you seen them or no?
No. So the Rookie Signatures is just a different – it's not from Select. The Prism,
it's from Select.
All right, so that's a different one. I'd love to take a look. If you could share the screen, we could take a look and we'll see
what I'm going to do.
Because there's 2 type of autos in Prism. For the rookie guys.
These ones.
Yeah, that's Select. That's definitely Select. Yeah,
but it's Panini. Oh, okay. They mislabeled the other one then. Okay.
Yeah, that's Select. Yeah, that's a Prism.
They mislabeled this. They do that quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, well, because people put Prism in to make it that catches more searches on eBay. You write Prism in the title, even if it's Select. By the way, that's the proof. That's all the proof I need. Also, that Prism's the king. People still on eBay, they put the word Prism in when they're selling a card that's not from Prism because they know people will be searching for Prism. That just shows you what the demand is.
But I like those cards, by the way. Those they don't have the RC. They don't have the RC stamp. But what's cool? I went to guys. I don't know if you know this. You can type in like a certification number of and this is cooler for like higher pop or medium pop cards to see the track record of the sales history that they had. Okay, did you use this on PSA?
Yep.
So like, if you go PSA, so guys, this is what you do. You go PSA serial number lookup. You search like the card I searched was the Trey Young 2018 Panini. See, dude, look, I'm telling you right now. Look, I'm sharing the screen. I'm sorry, guys. For audio listeners, I know this isn't the best, but you'll have to bear with me. They labeled it, Panini did, Panini Prism Rookie Signatures. But it's not supposed to be that.
So sometimes that's a silver Prism.
No, it's not.
I know, but so sometimes they put the wrong sale in. That happens a lot on PSA.
So, no, look, Panini Prism.
Yes, so
they mislabeled it.
It's a mislabel. That's a select auto.
But what I was doing was I was searching.
Right yeah.
I was searching the serial number in Panini in PSA certification to see the previous history of prices.
Yep.
And what this shows me is there's a bit of a flight to quality when it comes to some low pop. Like that's a low pop card. There's a pop PSA pop 28. I apologize. Well, that card went from $600 May 2nd. Now it's sold for $18.99. Cage. Trey Young.
Yeah.
So not all cards are going down.
No, definitely not. That's 100% correct. The right cards are going up. Low pop, ones that still have demand. Also ones that are not being graded and just continuously coming back from PSA. Trey Young base Prism. I graded 55 of those once myself. one sub 55. So if I'm doing that, think of how many of them are out there, being graded. So a lot of stuff, a lot of trade stuff.
Your play, or are you gonna get out of here without a play, or did you give a play?
So far I've given buy Tyler Hero, buy Tatis, buy Acuna, buy Soto. If you want me, I can come up with more than just those 4.
Any always specific? Are you saying buy like the Topps paper?
I'm saying the Topps paper on those definitely, because they've been beat down enough. Even though those are cards that fly against the whole those are high pop cards. I think that everybody is now hearing that and just jumping off ship on the high end guys. Those are still going to be your entry level cards, and the price they're at. Is that Tatis going to be $1,000? Probably not. People thought it might be $1,000 when it was going over 300 last year, because they were comparing it to like Mookie Betts and those guys, right? But the flip side is same scenario, like you're talking about. Find something that's lower pop. We've given Mookie Betts a million times, but it's the same. It's the same year as Giannis, right? Like Giannis's Prism cards are going to be less. They're not going to be high pop, right? Same as Mookie Betts Topps Chrome card, right? They're going to be, the pops on those are not going to be crazy. But yeah, I mean, at the show, I'm going to tell you, you know how many Acuna Topps PSA 10 cards I saw? 0. Not one. Nobody with them, right? Not a single person. You know how many Sotos I saw? 1 Chrome, 1 paper.
Is that because it was mostly NBA?
Oh, I think probably because people don't want to sell them at the price that they're at now, because these are dealers who were probably looking to sell them for $300 a couple of months ago. Or even less than a couple of months ago. So, I don't really see too many of them there. But yeah, man, listen, here's the thing. We talk about like how it's going to be tough because PSA's, got all this backlog and all these cards are coming out now. Well, guess what? We will run through that, right? And just like Michael Jordan and LeBron Chrome Refractor hit highs and they've come down because more of the supply comes on the market, you have to do that same type of analysis now as PSA returns are coming back. And fast forward 6 months, when PSA returns are all back, right? You're not going to have this flood of Tatis cards anymore, this flood of Soto cards, even if, those are cards that people were grading to begin with anyway, so I don't know how many of those are going to come back. But ultimately, we're going to hit a floor. And how much lower can the floor be on those cards than $150, $175? Can't be much lower than that. I don't think it can be, especially when they were double that already last year when they were playing, at a high level. So to me, the flip side to it, instead of complaining about, PSA and all the stuff's coming back and all the delays and the whole deal, is to start to formulate a strategy of what you do. Watch those cards and realize that glut of supply is soon going to be gone. And you may have some upside there because people are pricing in. They're already beating these cards down because they're pricing in so many 10s coming back. And if you pay real attention to the grading coming back now, maybe there won't be as many 10s on those cards coming back as people think. Maybe all of the good ones have already been graded. So, and people are discounting them based on the fact that they think there's going to be so much more supply. Maybe most of that supply is already in. Maybe, maybe the huge supply number, the huge pops has already been realized.
Oh. You met Jay Cardboard Dreams today. Well,
I did.
You want to talk about
Dreams.
that?
It's cool to hang out with, with audience members. I can't wait to do a show where we got people from Luca Nation, going over there. And, Jay was looking to buy, I'm going to tell a story, Jay. I hope you don't get mad. Jay was looking to buy an Acuna, where I'm talking about here, an Acuna Topps update PSA 10. The bat up, not the bat down, nothing crazy. He was looking to buy one. He's like, I want to get one. You think I can get one close to $100? And I'm like, not really. I don't think so, because that's like significantly less than what eBay is. But go ahead and look around the show and see if see if anybody has those. See if anybody's got them and see what kind of deal you do. He found the LeBron. He was hoping somebody gave a discount on the LeBron. You name it. He would hang out. We watch Ian and my nephew open up some Pokemon cards, and I'm like, Jay, how'd you do on the Acuna? And he says, I did all right. Nobody was really willing to sell it anywhere near the 100 that I wanted to sell it for. So I open up my box of PSA stuff and I go, pick which one of these 3 you think looks the best. And I had 3 Acuna PSA 10s, and he picked one. And I said, "Do you want to spend $100? $100? That's fine with me. Go ahead, and take it for $100." And he's like, I spent some money in the show. I only got $97 on me. You take 97? I said, here's take the Acuna, here's $7 back in case you need to buy a pack of gum when you're driving out of here. So Jay got a Acuna PSA 10 for $90. So, and I love doing that. And Jay, he watched me. I made a trade. I had Mbappe Prism PSA 10, and one of the guys we were making trades with, Ian was traded with also. He had Luca base Prism, right? And he's like, hey, would you do, could we work a trade for the Luca for the Mbappe? And I'm like, sure, you want to trade straight up? And he looks at the comps and he's like, actually, the Luca, the comps on those are a little higher than Mbappe by about like $100, right? So I don't know if I could do it straight up. So I said, okay, so my goal is for you to leave here and tell your friends, all right, I did really good on this trade. Listen to how I got. Look what else I got. Look what I did. I don't want you going back to your friends and saying, "Oh, this is my trade," and your friend saying you got ripped off. That leaves a horrible taste. You're a kid. You know what I mean? I think he was like 17 years old. Meanwhile, I got his Instagram, and he's got more followers than me by a long shot on Instagram, right? So it's funny. But I said, how about this? You think if you went back and told your friends that you gave a Luca, you got the Mbappe and this Tatis PSA 10 rookie Topps card in trade, you think they would say you made a great deal? And he's like, yeah, they would think that was great. I go, so then take it. Tell your friends what a hard bargain you drove. So he left with a Tatis PSA 10. Like, I'm like Santa Claus at the show, man. I don't know. I have fun.
Well, it's funny. Like it's don't get, what is it?
Don't leave some meat on the bone, right? Let these guys.
Yes, but I want to say you can't see the forest from the trees. That whole quote we do.
Yep.
You probably have the largest collection or one of the largest collections at this show. And I think a lot of people, if they knew that, they would want to emulate that. And here you are talking about some of the ways that you go about it doing that, and you leave meat on the bone with such the lower end deals, but somehow it ends up playing itself out. It's just cool. I think a lot of people out there could take, because a lot of times we think when we're generous, we're going to end up with the short end of the stick. But I think we learn over time, generosity, actually, it's just the abundance mindset. The more generous you are, the kinder you are, the more you leave meat on the bone. That doesn't mean you get taken advantage of course. Yep. But you leave meat on the bone for other people. You give discounts. You understand how to do that. It ends up coming back to you in multiples. So it's actually a cool lesson. It's a great way to put a bow on this episode. A little different vibe, but I couldn't have picked a better vibe for a Sunday episode than what we brought here today.
Yep, love it. Luca Nation, we got. I can't wait to see you guys at a show. It's a lot of fun, man. It's really cool interacting. Like that was almost surreal. Like somebody, I guess maybe because of Cardboard Relevant, somebody recognized me and was like, "Hey, love the show." I was like, "All right, cool," and then he was gone, just vanished. So it's fun stuff, right? So we love you, Luca Nation. And if anybody else wants a bargain, like I was giving out at the shows today, just DM me. I got bargains all over the place. Talk to you soon.